students. In last video we was discussed about what is meant by unification, what is meant by control flow, and briefly explain about backpatching. So in this video we recollect the information about backpatching and what is meant by flow control statements and how to generate intermediate code for procedures or function calls. So here backpatching means, so whenever we are implementing the flow of controls or control flow statements at that time, so especially when we are using the jump statements at that situation, we are facing some difficulties to implement the such control flow statements. So to overcome such problems, we are using the backpatching. So that means whenever we are using the backpatching, it performs the all possible labels or all possible jump statements, and then those all jump statements are temporarily stored or maintained into some list memory or some list memory, and whenever we want to call that particular label or that particular jump statement, at that situation we can simply collect such information from the list and then execute that instruction. So this is the major important advantage with backpatching. So especially these backpatching was helped in one pass compilers. So now we consider some example how this backpatching technique is helpful in the process of flow of control statements. So now consider some flow of control statement grammar. So that is S derives if boolean expression then statement. So that means if B S. So here B is some boolean expression. So the intention of this particular production rule is, so if boolean expression is valid, so that means this boolean expression is return some true value, then execute this statement S. In case this boolean expression returns some false value, then we doesn't execute this statement. At the same way, next production is if B S else S. So that means if boolean expression is true, then execute statement 1, and else then execute statement 2. At the same way, while also, while we check some boolean expression, it is true, then execute statement. And here L indicates some list and A is the some assignment operator or some assignment statement. So now we consider some example how to perform the flow of control statements. So consider the example, if x less than 100, then we go to execute 101 instruction. Or if x less than 100 is false, then directly go to 102. So here we check x value is the greater than 200 or not. In case x value is greater than 200, then execute the 103 instruction. So in case x value is doesn't greater than 200, then we can execute a statement or instruction 104. So this is the process of performing the flow of control statements. That means, so actually here total 6 lines of codes. So in these 6 lines of codes, based on the condition, we can choose whatever the instructions can be executed. So here we perform the backpatching. So that is 104 instruction into 102. So that means whenever x value is greater than 200, then we can directly going to the 104. So now we check x value is not equivalent to y, then only execute 105. In case x value is equivalent to y, then execute another statement or another jump statement. So this is the advantage with backpatching. Now consider one more example. If x less than 100, then go to 101 instruction. So in 101 instruction, we are using some backpatching statement or some backpatching technique. So that is after completion of x value is 100 or not, that means after checking of x value either true or not, that means either satisfying the required condition or not, then immediately we check what about the y value. So y value is also satisfies the given condition, then only we check, then only we directly execute the whatever the result or whatever the statement can be executed after completion of x value and y value requires our requirements. So that means here there was no need to perform the 104, that means 104 instruction. Why? Because x value is less than 100 and y value is greater than 200, means obviously those two are not equal values. Why? Because x is below 100 and y value is above 200. So that's why there was no chance to equaling the both values. That's why there was no need of implementing this 104 instruction. So this is the without executing this 104 instruction, with the help of backpatching we can complete this part of the instruction. So this is a one more advantage with backpatching. So now we observe how to implement the switch statements. So here, while we are going to execute the switch case statements, so first we evaluate some expression. That means that switch case statement is decided or depending upon some selector expression. Based on this selector expression, we can choose whatever we can select whatever the case is suitable for executing the control flow statements. So here we evaluate this particular expression. Based on this expression return value, we can choose appropriate case. In case if this expression returns either 5, then we can choose case 5. In case this expression doesn't return any one of these values, then we can choose default statement. So this is the process of switch case statements. So that means in this switch case statement, first we can evaluate the selector expression. So based on selector expression, we can call appropriate case statement. In case the selector expression does not meet whatever the cases was represented within that switch statement, then we will go for default case statements. For example, consider this switch case statement. This is the syntax direct translation for switch case statement. So here first of all we perform that selector expression, so that is test. So first we perform whatever the return or whatever the value of the test case or that test expression. So in case that the test returns either value 1, then go to label 1. In case that the test returns value 2, then go to label 2. So and so on. In case the test returns n value, then go to label n. In case the test doesn't return any one of the value, then go to default statement. So and then final thing is intermediate code for procedures. So in this concept we discuss about how to generate the intermediate code for procedures or function calls. So already we know procedures and function calls are both are same. That means procedure term is also known as the function call. So already we was briefly discussed about how to generate procedure intermediate code for procedures or function calls in free address code generation. So now we observe some simple example and then how to generate free address code for the procedures. For example, we consider some simple statement n equals to f of a of I. So now we discuss about how to generate the free address code for this particular function call. So here whenever we want to pass some information into n value, so first we evaluate a of I value, and then this a of I value can be passed as an argument to the function f. So that's why first we evaluate what is the value of I, and then we choose whatever the value was stored or whatever the value assigned to a of I, and then pass such information, such argument to the function f. So that's why we calculate what is the value of I. So here I is some integer value, so that's why we multiply with 4. That means we choose what is the memory requirement of I. So that is here I is some integer value, so that's why we multiply with 4. So this result can be stored into some temporary variable t1. So now we calculating a of I. So here already I value is calculated and assigned to temporary variable 1. So that's why we perform a of I value is nothing but a of t1. So this a of t1 result can be stored into some temporary variable t2. So now we are passing parameter value, that is t2, into function f. So that's why we can mention call function, so that it can be assigned to the temporary variable 3. So here call f of 1, just like. So that means finally this whatever the value written by this entire expression, that value can be assigned to the n. So now this n can print what is the value written by the function f. Such information can be print by the n, or such information can be stored in the variable n. So in this three address code generation, actually these first two lines compute for the expression a of I. So to evaluate expression a of I, for that purpose we are using these first two lines, and this line 3 is used to passing some parameter value into the function, and line 4 was line 3 is used to calculate whatever the parameter value. So that means which value can be passed into the f, function f. So on line 4 is passing that particular parameter into function, and line 5 is return or assign whatever the result of that particular function, whatever the return value of that particular function, such information can be passed to the f value. So these are the details about how to generating the 3 address code. So in this video we was discussed about what is meant by backpatching and how backpatching technique was implemented in flow of control statements, and then how to generate 3 address code for intermediate code for procedures or functions. Thank you.